The final day of group stage begins now here for PGS9, and we have had ourselves all of these teams try and vie for points throughout the last 2 days. Now they're going to collide head-to-head here, Groups A and C, to determine who makes it all the way to the top, who ascends to that top 16 and gets themselves into the grand final. My name is Kalaris. Joining me to round out group stage, I have good old Avangar, the EU boys here, ready to go. How about you, Avangar?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's always awesome here on the final day of group stage. There's going to be some hearts broken and some nails biting. Nice. I think a little bit. Yeah, some teams are hoping to be surviving here, but I think it's pretty obvious. There's going to be 3 teams that are not playing today that's going to be knocked out, and there's going to be 3 spots that's going to be able to be played for.
Yes, there is definitely some scared teams at the back that are pretty much resided themselves to absolute defeat, I do think. We'll get onto that in just a little bit's time. But first, we've got to thank good old Hero Esports and Crafton for making everything happen for PUBG. PUBG Esports is what's going on right behind us right now. Doesn't it look delightful?
It's beautiful here.
Well, of course, we also have OP.GG as well joining us for all of the stats breakdown, so thank you to them here, and you can overpower your game over at OP.GG. And not to mention, over in Twitch chat right now, you can get yourself some cool drops, and I have to reiterate, I love the fact that we have our MVP signature of Mr. Old Xiao Wu over on PGS9.
I think it's awesome, and especially it's taken from a moment there, then immortalized in the game.
Absolutely.
It's super cool. Right? So make sure you grab that. I'm going to have to set that up, actually, for the final. Make sure you have a laptop so you have that as well. You don't want to miss out.
We're here. We will miss the drops if we don't do that. I wonder who might be the signature for PGS next one. Interesting. Anyway, you guys can also play the bingo that is currently going on over on this QR code right over because obviously you want to be able to win yourself as much G-Coin as possible. Over the last couple of weeks here for regionals as well, we've been able to give away so much G-Coin, and we're giving away even more Avenger.
We've been giving away hundreds of thousands throughout our regionals, throughout our online series, and through PGS as well this year. So we continue the whole fiesta.
Love it. Love it a lot. But we've got a lot to talk about Avenger when it comes to everything that's gone on over the last 2 days. Good old Tan Vu across his 2 days, 29 kills. I know a lot of people in Fantasy were picking good old Tan Vu.
Yeah, he's just such a good player. It's crazy. It's awesome to see him obviously come in here and to have 8 more kills than the second. And obviously we're still missing some teams that's going to be playing their last 6 games today. So things can still change here. But if you're dropping 20 plus in 12 games, it's looking good. And to do that as a upcoming player, first-time PGS player in D, I was very impressed with what he's been able to do.
Yeah, he seemed quite reserved about the situation as well yesterday, talking to him. Very exciting to see how he was able to perform. Obviously, Roth and Rello were very proud of that kind of performance, but they said to him, take a step back a second. It's not all done just yet. You still got to do the same in the finals.
Yeah, and as you see the highlights here, our angles yesterday, there was more military action, more crazy things happening. But we did dial back a little bit on the C4 and the BDM craziness, so it was more stabilized. But the craziness still continued on the Wrangle, like getting both your first group stage game as a Group C here, both of them being military. Yeah, 75% of our 4 games so far military on the Wrangle. That's kind of insane. Usually we're looking at in 1 in 6 games or 1 in 5 games, but here already that. I mean, surely we don't get any more military games today, James.
You'd hope so. I mean, of course, I've talked a lot about how it is technically easier to get there with all the options that are available, but it's still hard at this level to make it work if you're dropping especially very north. But to take a look back at Miramar and see all of our highlight points to come from it. But what's most important really is that cutoff point for today here, Martin.
Yes, the hypothetical cutoff point. Yesterday, all I talked about was you need to be in that 65 to 70 plus points to make sure that you don't have to worry about anything if you're not playing today. But if you are playing today, sure, you're going to have some impact there. But the huge mid pack that we have that's on the chase basically is just looking to chase down E-Arena on 56, DNF on 55, and Slam G on 43, I think, is already out there. Sure, they're in the top 16 right now, but there's so many teams that are extremely close that they're going to be pushed out.
I think for teams like Slam G especially, right, they're going to be going home, not home, but back to the hotel, and thinking to themselves, okay, we can watch this. How are we going to adapt going into PGS10? But here is the overall leaderboard so far. Of course, there's some teams very safe.
Huge gap in between, as you see here, 5th and 6th. And that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
There are tons of spots that you're going to be able to grab here. And I think I said 56, 57, of course, with the Arena, 55 Freaks. I think these 2 teams are out. Full Sense only played 6 games there, 50 at top. But I'm looking at, again, a cutoff at this 65 to 75 point mark. Personally, I think it's going to be on the lower end of it, but we'll see.
We will see indeed, as we have danger abound for some of these teams, of course, and especially even for teams that are actually playing out things today, right? If you look down all the way to the bottom, SGA, Incheon, 4 Angry Men, Mission Ready International Alliance, these teams not even breaking that 20 points threshold just yet. They've got to have a big day today to get into that final.
That has to be massive. Now, we're looking at these current bottom 8 teams. We're taking FaceClan up. They're already in the top 16. We assume they're going to be in. Out of these bottom 8 teams, what teams do you think is going to be able to get out of the bottom 8 and get into that top 16?
As it disappears, now I have to recall of them.
Mission Ready, SGA, 4 AM, Forest Natural Gaming.
I think Forest Natural Gaming.
I think Forest Natural Gaming does it.
I think the interesting thing for them is that they didn't quite have the standout or really flashy plays that they had when it came to the previous PGSs that really kind of put them on people's maps for the most part. However, I think that they can still do it in today's lobby.
I feel like we haven't seen what we're used to seeing from KISS yet.
Agreed.
So that's the big one for me, is surely they're going to get warmed up and they're going to get into things.
No, definitely, definitely. All right, well, let's talk about some of our head-to-heads regionally, because we've got a lot of cool teams to talk about here.
Yeah.
In terms of Twisted Minds and Virtus Pro. These two teams, of course, Virtus Pro already has a win on the board. Both of them impressed me in their first day of groups.
Yeah.
And I think for us as EMEA aficionados, I think we're probably expecting them both to get it.
Yeah, and I actually said, and I talked to Batson, and I was like, guys, are you going to break triple digits today, or are you going to leave none do it? Because that's actually kind of rare to have a PGS where we're not seeing anyone break triple digits.
Yeah.
That's also why, again, it's kind of back to what we also saw at Esports World Cup. The top is getting ever closer. Like our high performing teams are getting closer and closer, and it's just going to be like a best of one for the last game up between 5-6 teams. Who wins the whole thing?
Yeah.
And that's just really been the case again here. But still, good performance. 48 points is great. 50 is great. Also, once we get to APAC here with Full Sense and Bury, I'm very impressed with what they're able to do. But the biggest one for me, obviously, Bury being able to do that well as a team that's coming in here for PGS.
I have to completely agree. I think that obviously Full Sense have a lot of history, a lot of pedigree on internationals, right?
Yes.
As day trade and as being able to kind of do pretty well on those internationals. Buram, they've really been able to play EWC as of recently or whatever and things like that. And because of that, I mean, it didn't look great there. And I think they surpassed my expectations from this. Will they continue that is my question mark. What do you think?
Again, it's groups, it's played so differently, but I think they kind of thrived in the chaos again, right? This whole group stage has been in a way where you're getting curveballs thrown at you constantly, difficult circles, teams that already had a lot of points you're going up against where you maybe not have as many points here, but Buriam has really come through and done well for that. They've, especially here on Tego, on Rondo, they had some great games where they're able to get tons of points, but they're going to have to replicate that again today. Like, we're looking at a 20-plus point day from them for them to be very safe, but I think should be doable. But then again, remember, 24th place at Esports World Cup, the global kind of competition where you're looking at
attain them.
Able